Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video on GT7. In today's video we're going to be talking a little bit about tracks for daily races and the lack of variety within these tracks. Now while we're talking about this, you can see on screen at the moment, this was taken from the live stream. I'm currently on screen picking some random settings that I think will work for a race that we're doing in our community lobby races. Now if you do want to join them, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button as well, that helps the channel grow. But yeah, make sure you subscribe because that then will notify you when we go live and we do these races as a community and we all get on together and have some good fun. But you can see this lobby hasn't took us long to do there. It's all set up pretty much within a couple of minutes. And it's just us just putting some settings together that we think will work for a race. Now, it does show that it doesn't actually take that much effort to create a good daily race. Now, obviously, if I was to do proper daily races, I'd want to do a little bit of testing, adjustments and stuff like that and fine-tune it to make sure it was a pretty solid race, which wouldn't take long. I think you could get a solid adjusted race to make sure strategies were good within like 30-40 minutes. For a daily race C. Daily B and A, you don't need to do any of that because it's just very simple settings. There's never any strategy in it. It's only daily C that you need to put effort in really for the strategy of races. So I don't think there's any excuse for the lack of combinations being used in daily races because we are getting the same races every single week in Gran Turismo 7. Now you can see what we've done here. We've gone to a track that a lot of you are probably like, I don't even know this track, because there is a reason. If you only play sport mode, you've probably hardly ever driven this track. Probably never as a daily C. As far as I know, this has never ever been used as a daily race C. It's Blue Moon Bay infield and it's a reverse layout, which actually is a pretty underrated track. I'm not particularly good here, but I can tell you straight away from this race, it's a fun track. It's got nice wide open corners. In a car like this Radical, which is quite small, it actually creates the ability to go like 5 or 6 cars wide into corners, and it's crazy. This is the kind of combination that would actually be a hit, I think, on daily races if they created something like what we've done here. We managed to create a pretty well-rounded for fuel, tyres and stuff like that. It would need fine-tuning because there would be strategies that would become OP, but I think you could figure that out within one race. You know, after doing this, I could make some changes and it would be a really good combo. Now, we were running weak slipstream in this because we tend to go from the back of the grid and then I think most of the fast drivers go to the back and then we get to, like, obviously try and get to the front, and then it enables the lower rank drivers in community racing to hang with us, so it gives everyone the opportunity to get some good clean racing and close racing together. And I think it makes sense when you're doing lobbies. Obviously if we were doing this as a daily race here, I wouldn't have the weak slipstream on. I'd run the normal slipstream in this car because it would work perfectly fine in my opinion at this track, because it's got a long straight. This car would build up enough slipstream and it creates some pretty good racing even with the real slipstream. You can see into this corner, a very tricky corner this. You go from a really long fast right hand corner into a braking zone that's nice wide open right hand corner. It's like quite a fast paced one as well. So plenty of overtaking opportunities into this tight right hand corner as well. And it's actually just a really enjoyable track. Now, this isn't just the only track that they haven't used. There's plenty of other tracks. I want you to let me know in the comment section which tracks you'd like to see used in the dailies more often. There's plenty of tracks that have been rarely used as daily races as far as I remember. I mean, Tokyo Expressway is an example that I wanted to mention while we watch this race. Long straight. You've also got the dock version of Tokyo Expressway. The other one, there's the ones they added on GT Sport after they already had the base ones there. So there's quite a few variations of that just don't seem to see the light of day on daily races, whether it's a daily B or a daily C. Like I say, as far as I know, the really long straight Tokyo Expressway has never been used as a daily race C. It might have been used as another daily race, maybe like daily B or something. It was definitely used in the GT World Series because we had it as one of the first ever races on GT7 with dynamic weather in it, and it was crazy, absolute crazy. So that race had like, I think it might have been a fixed weather system. I can't remember if it was fixed or it was dynamic. It might have actually been fully dynamic in that race, but the rain hit really aggressively and it was quite crazy to say the least, but it was good fun. And yet we haven't been back to that since. Nothing on daily C at all. And it used to be a track that was commonly used nearly as much as your likes of Interlagos on GT Sport. It was used, you know, a lot of time in Group 4 and in Group 3, so I'm not sure what the reason is. Some people think it's because of wall riding, but I think they can fix that and solve that. It can't be that hard. If they manage to solve it on GT Sport, then yeah, put a bit of effort in and get it onto this game as well, because we are running the same tracks every week. You might be noticing it's Grand Valley, it's, you know, Interlagos, it's Spa, it's Lagos Maggiore, it's you know, Deep Forest again. I think this week coming up, but to be fair to this week, it looks like a very good race in Group 3, fingers crossed it's either going to be Group 3 or Group 2. If it's Group 4, might not be as good a race, but yeah, in Group 3 or Group 2, it should be fairly entertaining, and it's got some pretty good settings in there. So I'm looking forward to next week's daily race, even though it is at Deep Forest and we have been there multiple times. But you can see in this race now we've got ourselves up to P3, and we're having a good fun race here so far. We've got Maxo right behind us, he's 1.4 seconds behind, he's in that slipstream. And you can see the fuel settings here that we've got. We've done the fuel enough that you can do quite a few laps, but we can see we're going to have to pit for fuel with how we're driving this. And also the tyres are going to be very, very worn in this race. Now, some people have migrated to a no-stop in this race, which probably would have been the OP strategy if you got it perfect. I think if you managed to get the no-stop really fine-tuned, it probably would have been the best way to do this race. But we could, you know, after this practice race, you could fine-tune this race to make it so that, you know, it'd be a little bit more close between the one-stop and the no-stop. It wouldn't take much effort at all to have like different strategies possible without even having a required pit stop. You could force different strategies into these races. So yeah, I really hope that PD will start putting a little bit more effort into the daily races. I mean, I'm not sure what your opinion is of this. I think there could be definitely more done with daily races. I feel like they're not really utilising what's available in this game. Whether they need to add a new daily race, possibly one more daily race at least, just to give us more variety. There are other options which they could do, which we spoke about I think a long time ago on GT Sport, which, you know, nothing's been utilised from, you know, that. It was basically daily A would change on a daily basis, daily B would change every 3 days, daily C would be every 5 days, and then you'd have a weekly race that lasted the whole week, which was a bit longer with in-session qualifying. And I think that would create a lot of variety on the game, because you'd constantly have a rotation system of different like combos coming in and leaving. But again, it would require more effort from PD, which I'm not sure they're willing to do. As you see, we're going to go into the pits here and actually refuel up and change the tyres. I decided to go for that strategy. I was one of the first persons to actually pit in this race going for that strategy, because I started to realise that fuel, the tyres didn't look so great. So get in the pits and get out and hopefully gain a few positions from people that try and go too long, or, you know, make a different strategy work. So you can see by lap 9, other drivers have started to pit now. You can see they're into the pits, Matt's in the pit, other people are into the pits, and as we come out of the pits, you can see here there's a few drivers coming out right in front of us. We've got Maxo that's gone in the pits as well. We've managed to get back past him, and now we're about 1.2, 1.4, 1.5 ahead of him by the time we get to the braking zone. And there's still more cars that need to pit in this race. So different people going for different strategies all over the place. You know, this is one thing I'd love to see on a daily race, where people are doing different things, different type of tyre strategies, different strategies completely, and then all coming together at the end of a race is really exciting for me. I love that kind of situation. I'm not sure, you know, some people like these static races. Like this week we've had the road car race. Static race, 7 laps. For me, it's not my favourite. I get it that some people like that kind of thing, and that's fine. I don't mind having the race like that every now and then for the people that enjoy that. But in general, I much prefer a race where you've got to think about stuff, and maybe you need to pit, or maybe you don't need to pit, and then it all comes together at the end and it creates excitement. That for me makes it much more enjoyable, and I would prefer a race like that over what we've had this week with the road car at Autopolis. Wasn't one of the best weeks in my personal opinion. Some people might have liked it, but for me, I think we can do a lot better in daily races than what we've had with that race. As you can see here now, catching up to Wardev in front of us. We're in that 6th gear, doing the shifting with this car. You have to shift very early, just in case you're wondering why we're shifting early. It's the radical, you shift early, also double shifting with this car. You go from like 4th to 6th gear. Again, shifting is something that I hope will be looked at for Gran Turismo 8 on cars, because you wouldn't drive these cars the way you do on GT, the way you shift, like heavy downshifting through the gears, and also the double shifting on upshift. Hopefully that's something they can look into and try and get sorted for Gran Turismo 8, because I'd much rather drive the cars, revving them out and really, you know, using them how they should be driven. So fingers crossed for GT8 they get on top of that shifting, you know, glitch or whatever it is, the downshifting one, and also the double shifting on corners and stuff like that. It's a strange one why it works. I think there's obviously some reason within the physics why it happens on a lot of cars. I'm not too sure. It's a strange one. But you can see in this race they're running a little bit wide. These corners here, really enjoyable. Wide open corners. They lend you to want to send it up the inside, but then you've got to be careful because you've got the wall on the outside. And this final corner, very tricky, because you send it down, you hit the bump, the car goes a little bit unsettled, and then you regather the grip, and then you've got this really long straight for the slipstreaming phase. And yeah, it's a really fun combo. it's a shame that I would say most people who only play daily races probably have no idea that this track even exists, because they've never been on it. And I'd love to see more combos being used. Tracks did get used on GT Sport more often, not particularly loads for some of these tracks like this. It wasn't a track that would always be used, but it was definitely used every now and then. And I think it's something that GT could do to create more variety, is be a bit more adventurous with the tracks, the cars. It doesn't have to be Group 3, Group 4 every week. We can do radicals. There's also single make races you could do with different cars, like cup races and stuff like that. I'd love to see them just really push the daily races more on GT7. Now, I know before people start in the comment section, but Gran Turismo is not just about online, but the online side is just about online. So daily races is only about online. So single player doesn't really matter for, single player opinion has nothing to do with daily races. There should be effort being put into daily races, because it doesn't take much time at all. It would take little effort at all to create a really good race. Now, we can see in this race, Bradley's gone for a very late pit stop now. We've got Maxo going past us on the right side, and there's Bradley just coming out the pits just ahead of us. Now, I'm not sure if Bradley changed tyres. I presume that he's changed tyres really late and put fuel in, because he's realised that his tyres were probably quite worn, and also his fuel was completely low. As Maxo there going into the wall and rebounding off it and just about getting out in front of us there. Now, we got Ritaka in the lead in this race that we created, 7 seconds ahead, going for a no-stop strategy. And it really does show you that with a bit of fine-tuning, you'd definitely be able to get this race to be very, very close on both strategies. I mean, without fine-tuning it, we've actually created pretty enjoyable, exciting race here, and I really enjoyed this combination. So, yeah, it does show you. Hopefully PD can start putting a bit more effort in. I know this video probably won't go through to anyone at PD, and I probably will never, they probably won't ever listen to anything we're saying, but it is a dream that they start putting some more effort into sport mode, because I think there's unlocked potential with Gran Turismo. In my personal opinion, Gran Turismo 7 has some of the most potential when it comes to daily races. You've got endless options. You've got so many different cars in this game. You've got so many different tracks, but instead it's always Group 3 or Group 4 at Interlagos or Lagos Major or Grand Valley, for example. It does make it, for me, it's a shame. I think, for most people that play this game, I think a lot of people would love to see more variety. As we now catching up to Maxo in front of us, you can see there this battle for the final three is getting very close. As I don't know why I drove onto the grass for that corner, trying to widen the line in, made a mistake. But you can see there Ritaka really struggling with the fuel. So what he's trying to do now, he's trying to back out and get into the slipstream, because he knows that he'll be able to hang on with the slipstream. So we're trying to fight for this podium, getting ourselves into that slipstream as well. And this is what we want. Races like this where you're coming into the final lap and you've got different strategies all really close together. Everyone here has done a different strategy pretty much. Maxo pitted later than me. I pitted 2 laps early in all of them. Bradley in the lead actually pitted right at the end, but looks like he changed tyres and refueled up. Ritaka's going for a no-stop, and it's all come together really nicely in this combination. So yeah, exciting as I run again a little bit off the track, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get dirty tyres there, so very cautious on the brakes. Nearly went into the back of Ritaka, but just about got away with it. But he's struggling on fuel massively now. You can see as the top two are now fighting, Maxo's fighting Bradley, and it's just all coming together. It's amazing. I love races like this when everything comes together at the end, and with a bit of fine tuning we could make this race a lot better as well. This was just literally 2 minutes, if that, throwing some settings together and creating a race that works really well. So there's no excuse in my opinion why we don't get better daily races. I feel like there is obviously some sort of computer that just picks the combos, picks the tracks, picks the multipliers for tyre and fuel, and it's luck what we get, because it doesn't feel like effort's being put into the dailies in my personal opinion. But yeah, hopefully in the future we can start getting some more exciting combos. Like I say, the week coming up looks pretty good, as we're going to manage to take that P3 from Ritaka there. He's run out of fuel on the line also. A really fun combo. I enjoyed that. Hopefully you lot could see the potential in a combination like this, and hopefully let me know in the comment section what you think about other tracks they could be using, like including Tokyo Expressway, St. Croix more often and stuff like that. I'd like to hear what your opinion is of the tracks that you'd like to see getting used that are pretty much redundant and never get used. But yeah, subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you for more of these in the future. Thanks again for watching, everyone.